Hi guys, in this video I cover packages in Java. Packages are organized into two categories. There are built-in packages provided by the Java API, and there are user-defined packages that are created by a programmer. Now let's first understand what packages are and why they are useful. Think of a package like a folder in a directory structure. For example, if you take multiple classes at a college or university level, you may create a folder for each class that you're taking. And you may even create subfolders in those folders. So you have a hierarchy of folders, and all the files that you get, you move them in the appropriate folder. That way it's easier to find it and it's well organized. The same applies to packages. So we have a project, we have the source folder, and inside the source folder, we have packages. Currently, I only have a default package, but for a large program, I could have any number of packages here, and these would be the user-defined packages. So folders help us to organize classes and interfaces, enums, so any types that we are creating. There's a second reason why we use packages. Packages also help to avoid naming conflicts. If two classes have the exact same name, the package name can be used to distinguish between those two classes. Now let me give you a more concrete example. Let's say we have a class named scanner, and here I declare a variable of that class. Now this class is provided by the Java API, and it's inside the java.util package. So when I use a class, I can write the fully qualified class name. It's prefixed with a package, java.util, then another dot, and then comes the class name. Now, if I were to create my very own scanner class, and I would want to use this class here, the compiler wouldn't really know how to distinguish between them unless I write the fully qualified class name like I did here. So the package name helps us to distinguish classes. You can also think of it like the class name being the first name of a person and the package name being the last name of a person. So if we have two persons with the very exact same first name, we can distinguish between these persons by referring to their last name. That's the same concept here. Now, if I just have one class and there's no naming conflict, I probably don't want to write the package name every time. So I can remove it here and I can use an import statement. This works by writing import java.util.scanner. And now the compiler knows whenever it encounters scanner, this will be the scanner from the java.util package. And I can have any number of import statements. Let's say I have an array list with integers. And this is another type that's provided by the java.util package. So I can import this as well. Now you can see I have two import statements. So there's no limit to the number of import statements. Sometimes you use a lot of classes from the same package. Instead of writing a bunch of import statements, what you can also do is use the wildcard operator. So you do java.util.wildcard. This means that you will import all the classes from that package. It's just another way of writing it. It doesn't slow your program down. But now the compiler will see you have scanner, and it will check if there's a scanner class inside this package. There is, so it knows how to resolve this. Same with the array list. Now that you know how the built-in packages work, let's move on to user-defined packages. Now here I created a class program.java, and let's look at the folder structure. So here I have the folder that represents my project. I have the source folder, that's the folder over here, and inside I have a class. There's no concept of packages yet. And because there are no packages, Java just creates the default package. Now the default package is basically you're missing any packages. Now packages are typically named in the reverse name of the company domain name. Let's say you have a company domain name example.com. You would create a package com.example. And this would be your main package. Underneath, you can create sub-packages for departments, for any kind of logical code that you want to wrap together, such as logging into the system, the billing, and so on. Or if you are a university or you write a program for a university, you may create a package edu.example if it's the example university with a domain name example.edu. So typically what you see a lot in the industry, that the package will be the reverse name. If you just write your own programs, you can really name it anything you want to. Now, package names are always lowercase and every word is separated by a dot. So here I created edu.example. Now when I go back to the folder structure, what you'll see is it created a folder edu and inside the folder an example folder, and that is empty. So every dot is a nested folder. So I have edu.example. If I create a subpackage here, let's say .billing, we can see there's a package edu.example and a package edu.billing. Now if I look here, it's really just a folder structure with billing underneath example. So it organizes the folders the same way that we define packages. And in fact, it has to map exactly with the same name. If I were to rename example, let's say to example2, when I go back to my program and let's say I create a class here, simple bill. Now when I go back, there's still example2, but it automatically created example billing because that's what matches the package here. So it completely ignores all the other folders I have. So the packages have to match the folder names. Now I can use, with multiple folders, I can use and organize my classes. Let's say I have a furniture store, and the furniture store, I want to create different packages. I have already one for billing. I create another package for, let's say, furniture.kitchen. And then inside the kitchen, I create different classes, such as chair. Maybe create another class, table, and then I create another package, edu.example.furniture.living room. And here I create two classes. I create a class couch, and there's also a table for the living room. So I create a class table. Now you can see when you create larger programs how packages help you to organize the classes. Now again, on the folder structure we can see we have furniture. Inside furniture we have kitchen and living room, and then the classes are placed into these subfolders. Now let's go back to the main. And let's say I want to here use a kitchen table. And I want to use a chair. Now the compiler doesn't know these classes yet because we haven't imported them. Automatically, if they are in the same package, the compiler will resolve everything in the same package. However, if it's in a different package, we have to import them just the way we import the built-in Java packages. So I click here and I import this one from edu.example.furniture.kitchen and this one from edu.example.furniture.kitchen.table. So now I can use the classes here. Now what you may have noticed, I created the same named class to demonstrate a naming conflict. Whenever I use table here, let's say couch table, it will automatically be the kitchen table. Now, these classes are named the same. Let's say I want to use a kitchen table and a couch table in the same program. What I would have to do is use this fully qualified name. Actually, I can leave this here, copy this here. And here I want to use living room.table. So here I use the fully qualified name. Anything that does not have the fully qualified name, it will automatically default to the kitchen table. But for this table class here, I specifically say I do not want the default one that I import above. I want the living room table for this one. I could also leave this statement out and make both of them explicit so that I don't access by accident default to the kitchen table. So there are different ways to handle this, but this is one of the ways we can do it. So this is how you can use two classes that are named the same and then use the package name to distinguish these two classes. And that's really all there's to it for packages. So once you write larger programs, always try to organize into logical packages. The important thing is that they logically belong together. You don't want to create a package like package exceptions, package classes, package interfaces. That's more a technical package, like technical distinction between the types. You really want a logical distinction. Okay, thank you for watching.